Hello everyone, this is Barbara Howard and welcome back to my podcast. Today is January the 20th, 2021. This is episode number 3. And I am joined today in my little recording space by my little dog. I thought about waiting to record in another space or at another time, and I decided, nah, this is who I am. And if you follow me on social media, you always see me posting about animals. So he's here with me today. Anyway, speaking of following me on social media, if you go over to my website at barbarahowardmedia.com, you'll see all the links of where I am. And also there's an event coming up for aspiring authors hosted by Dr. Elijah Nichols, and it's going to be awesome. You want to be part of it. So check that out. It's also on my website. It's coming up January the 23rd. So you still have time to register for that. A lot of great people on the panels. It's about 4 hours, I think, 3.5 hours in question and answer. It's going to be great. So please join us there. I also started posting over on my YouTube channel finally. And I was over there talking about the feedback that I've been getting on my story, Final Harvest, specifically about Tracy, and how I took a chance in writing that character because I like to read cozy mysteries, but usually the characters don't have a lot of flaws that are as outstanding and as obvious as my main character, Tracy Simmons. But the feedback that I've been getting from the readers is that is what they liked so much about the story, and to watch her come into her own and to defend her community and see beyond herself and build relationships and so forth. And that has really, really touched me. So I want to thank everyone who contacted me, who sent a message, wrote a review, shared the book, shared the book. You have no idea. I think a lot of people wonder about book sales and how to increase profit and so forth. And there were a few comments on Twitter about authors who were upset that their books were being lent out through library systems and they were losing sales that way. And I'm thrilled. I am over the moon every time I see that my book is listed in a library and that it's been checked out. I just want readers, and I love readers' feedback. So all of that to say, thank you so much for giving the story a chance and continuing to read the series. So building on to that, I was asked, what am I reading? Right now, I am reading The Mother of Black Hollywood, which is the memoir of Jennifer Lewis. And I'm reading it. Actually, I'm listening to the audiobook because I was reading it and I got behind schedule because it's part of a book club, an online book club. And so I jumped into the audio, and she reads her own, she's a narrator of her own memoir, which is outstanding. So having the audio play gets me through that quicker. Speaking of audio, my series is being recorded as we speak, and hopefully will be completed and through the Audible process for quality control, and we'll get through all of that soon. So I'm hoping by the end of this month we'll be up and ready with our audiobooks for the entire series. So stay tuned for that. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right. So that's what I'm reading. It's interesting in a lot of different ways, partially because I'm interested in how a memoir is written, and everyone approaches that differently. And she mentions several different people who are in the, entertainment industry, and it gives a little window into their lives as well. So that's what I'm reading right now. I also have some books by Walter Mosley in my Kindle that I'm peeking in and out, but I'm trying to get this one done before the date of the book club so I can be part of that. I'll say this too. I read more nonfiction, biography, autobiography, and memoir than I do fiction. And the reason is it's really easy to get my attention, but it's very hard to keep my attention. I have a very long did not finish list. And I'll tell you why. Right now, when I'm reading, I'm constantly looking at how a book is structured. I am so obsessed with structure and craft and language and pacing and foreshadowing and resonance and all of these things that I'm overtaken by that while I'm reading someone else's book. I like to read books on craft, and James Scott Bell is one of my favorites. He also writes fiction. I was reading one of his fiction books, and every time I turned a page and wanted to turn to the next page and wanted to turn to the next page, I kept saying inside myself, ooh, I see what he did there. Ooh, I see how he did that. Ooh, I see how he did that too. So that has had a tremendous impact on how I read. I can't help it. So my fiction reading has, like I said, is the Walter Mosley, and right now with Jennifer Lewis's memoir. I stick closer to the mystery or cozy mysteries. Like I said before, not too much on the crime, true crime, things like that. But that's where I stay. I was watching a show, and I'll mention this as part of the how I read and what I read. It was a program on Netflix. I didn't know at the time that it was a series until I actually started watching it. It's in French. I'm not going to tell you the title because I'm going to mention some things that may be a spoiler. It's in French and it's dubbed into English. And the story goes along, and I'm thinking, oh, this looks interesting. I can stick with this. And something came up in the story that made me think about one of the big turnoffs that I encounter when I'm reading. There is a philosophy, there is a method, a technique that a lot of writers use, that as soon as you start the first scene, you're thrown right into the action. The main character is doused with kerosene and someone is chasing them with a match. It's it's on and popping right at the beginning. The world's in chaos. They have 1 foot over the edge of a cliff, and or they're the hero and they're in the middle of a battle, and your heart is pacing and you're running along with them, and it's all exciting and it's fantastic and all of that. The problem I have with it as a reader is as soon as they get through that action, and as soon as you catch your breath, you have to go back. I feel the way I feel when I read it is you're taking me back to the beginning, where you actually tell me and show me what a normal life looks like for this character. Then I get to understand why they were in the battle. Then I get to understand who the good guy is and who the bad guy is and what's in this world and all of the things that make it spin. So I feel like, okay, you've taken me through this emotional roller coaster, then you stop and you take me back to the beginning and tell me this is the world you're in right now. Personally, as a reader, I don't like that. Because if I get back to the beginning of the story and then I find out that I don't really like this character at all, I don't care if they drown in a lava lake. It doesn't matter to me. Then I've wasted, two chapters of my time, and I don't care. I don't care. So I like to see the world before I see the action. I like to get a good footing into normalcy, the location, the relationships. I don't care if you build 1 million galaxies and they're spinning on the tip of the hair on an elephant's ear. That could all be glorious. But if I don't care about the characters, I'm not going to finish the story. So back to the show I was watching on Netflix. We get through the story. They're dropping little hints about backstory and things that, the motivation for this particular character. He's the main character. He's, a jewel thief. And I think, well, this is pretty interesting. And we get to what should be the end. The climactic moment happens. The climax happens. And now we should be at the point where you tie everything into a little, you tie up all the bits and pieces into a nice little bow when it's the end of the story. What happened at that moment? A sign came up, some words came up on the screen that said 2 weeks earlier. I'm like, 2 weeks earlier? Hold up, wait a minute. What do you mean? You're going to take me back to, not just to the beginning, you're going to take me 2 weeks prior to the beginning? How is this happening? We're at the end of the story. This is the end. This is where you kiss me on the forehead, tuck me in, turn off the light, and say goodnight. This is it. But there was 4 minutes and 16 seconds left. And I said, why are you taking me back? Oh, no. Okay, boyfriend, we about to break up right here because I don't like that. I don't like when you take me through all the action and then drag me back to the beginning. But I sat through it. And what happened was, in that 4 minutes and 16 seconds, they reveal that the main character is pretending to be someone that he's not. And he's an amazing person. Like, wait a minute. I liked the original main character. But then when they show that he's living a double life and he's impersonating someone else, I was enthralled. Then I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to watch every episode in this series. So it worked for me because in the end, I like this main character so much more now. He's so much more intriguing. Now all those little bits and pieces of the backstory make so much more sense. I understand his motivation so much more. And now I'm rooting for him because of course, he's a jewel thief. He's a con man. He's a criminal. He should go to jail. But he has all of these great motivations for doing these things. So my thing is, the main character, even if he's a bad guy, if I care about him, I'll hang in here and I'll keep reading and I'll keep watching. So I'm in love with that technique. And even though I was just watching it to be watching it, I tucked that away in the back of my mind and thought, ooh, that is awesome the way they just did that. This reveal is amazing in the last couple of minutes. So that's where I'll stop. Again, I'm not going to tell you the name of the show. If you know what it is, you can guess in the comments or send me a message. But it's French. And like I said, it's dubbed into English and it's on Netflix right now. And the funny thing about it, and I'm going to end it on this. There's a book that's mentioned in this episode that is in French. And I kept saying, why do I know that? Why is that ringing a bell? When I was in when I was in the 7th grade taking French, my French teacher had us read a story where the character in the story was reading that book. The same book that's mentioned in this Netflix series is a book that was mentioned in a book that I read in French in 7th grade. How does something like that stick with you? So that made it extra special. All right. So I'm going to end this episode on that note. Thank you again so much for listening. How do you approach reading and listening to audiobooks or watching series, especially if you're a writer? Are there certain things that are just no-go zones, deal breakers? When you see that happening, you're like, no, we're done. Or are you open to pretty much anything and you can read everything without being critical? Let me know. I'd love to know. Again, you can find me at my website at barbarahowardmedia.com. Click on all the links. Follow me on social media. I'd love to meet you. Thanks so much. Have a great day. I'll talk to you again real soon.